cut it out. Cut it out. Y'all gonna cut it out, and I mean it. Y'all gonna cut it out, and I mean it. I ain't playing with y'all. So, there we go. Before I do that, I need to do this.
Can we have fun before you go on report?
No.
Yes, ma'am.
You guys have had enough fun for one evening. I want to say everybody welcome, and we are here again on Free to Heal, and we're going to talk tonight about building 7 habits to building relationship with anybody. These are things that you got to do, and some of you guys have done this with me before, but I want you to understand, in order to build any kind of relationship, these are the things that you need to do. So I'm gonna, yes.
You know, next time you go to a group, you know, because I know you do groups, you know, when you go to talk and stuff, I want you to come and get me.
Okay. So Thursday, I'll come get you.
No, can't go Thursday.
That was a quick one.
Okay, so listen. So these are 7 habits to build relationship. And I got them from an article, but one is to become a good listener. Everybody wants to be heard. Many of us tend to listen to hear as much as we want to hear to be able to respond. Listening to hear and understand the other person builds their confidence in our desire to hear them. This helps with bonding. So I want to stop right there, and unpack that a little bit more. Most of the time, particularly if there's any conflict involved, people listen to hear the words they think they want to hear, and so that they have their response already, so that they could tell somebody, respond to whatever it was that was said.
When I understand what you're saying, but when you're an older person like me, and you come out of prison, and you don't work, and you spend most of the time in an apartment, there ain't no bond. It's just, you know, I mean, you go to the store and you come back.
But you are bonding with the people that's downstairs that work there. You
Right.
build a relationship with the people that's downstairs. You build a relationship with the people in your building. That is a bond. It's not probably the bond you're thinking about, but that is a bond.
Because there's still relationships.
Yeah, but the people in my building, no, most of them don't speak English. You know, you can say hi, and they'll say hi back, but that's about as far as you can go with them.
But even still, I think her point is right. Her point is,
yeah,
relationship
with the people that work in the building.
Right.
I'm not saying the people that's actually living in the building, that you do go downstairs every day. If you go downstairs in the office and joke around with them, that is a bond.
And I want y'all to move closer because y'all look so far away on this camera.
I'm just saying that when you come out, and if you come out at a decent age, 40, even 50, you know what I'm saying? That they can get a life. You know what I mean? They can build a family. They can, you know, get a job, deal with people, you know. But if you stay in there long enough and you come out at a really later age, it sucks.
You don't want to be around them.
Well, it's not so much that you don't want to be around them. It's what is that coming? You know what I'm saying?
I understand, and I think what I hear you saying is there's not a lot of time left, and there's not a lot of, because of your age, you don't see forward with a relationship with somebody and having kids and doing the traditional things that you see people doing. But I think it's important to understand, though, that there is still relationship no matter what it is. For example, like she said, you talk to the people down in the office, you still have your relationship with Frank.
How you doing,
you know, he comes to get you every week.
Every what?
Every Thursday, but that's during the day. That's during the day. This is in the evening. I can still come get you. Yeah, I can still come get you. So all of in relationship, there are all kinds of relationships, and that's why it's important to understand that when you're trying to build a relationship, even if it's just the person, the clerk, like you say, the clerk in the store, the store you go to on a regular basis. Those people, you still build relationship with them. And it's important to say this too. Everything is done on a relationship basis. All business is done on a relationship basis. I can remember when my son started in the entertainment industry, and I would hear for years about people complaining about how it's such a closed industry, and it's, you know, the people that that are in the unions, they hire their family members and it becomes generational people and stuff like that. But it's all because it's about relationship. And in the entertainment industry, it's so much money on the line on a regular basis that I need the people that I can trust. In other words, if you start acting a fool, I need to be able to tell you so, and you're not going to HR because we got to get this job done. Yeah. Because we got all these people standing around here waiting on us, and this needs to happen. If it's transportation, we need the people on set when we need them ready, with the cameras ready to roll. All of these things, but all of that is done on a relationship basis. Everything. People hire people. Companies don't hire people. People hire people. And I don't know who it is. They know them. In my group, and it's really annoying.
That's because you don't turn your phone off.
Yeah, no, normally I do. So the thing of it is that again, everything is done on a relationship basis, and the more you understand that, the more you realize the importance of having good relationships. There are some people who don't get along with nobody and don't have no relationships. They kill off relationships. There are people who are so self-centered that they kill off relationships because the only thing that's important to them is them. And they wind up making people not want to be around them, pushing everybody away, because if it's not their way, it's no way at all, right?
Some that fear of rejection, you know, and a lot of people will push.
Hi, Noreen.
Wait, he's
So-
talking right now, but
Oh.
give a second.
Okay.
When a guy or a lady fear rejection,
Mm-hmm.
not just in a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, but also in a friend,
Right.
they tend to be kind of smartish, I can say,
Smart Alec.
yeah,
Smart Alec.
and they tend to run everybody off before that person get a chance to
To
leave.
reject them.
You see what I'm saying? So that's another way of understanding relationships that are toxic. You know, we still have them, but they're toxic. And some of us try to make it more than what it is, but you can't, because this person's already in their mind, they're toxic. Them the kind of people you tend to get away from. So when you think about the relationships that we create around us, you have to value or contemplate if it's really worthy of even having.
Okay, so
Wait,
that is, so
One
wait.
second. Being inside, I think we can. I know inside that if somebody come up to me in a few minutes, I size them up.
Yeah,
Feel it.
we always do that.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm good at it. I really am. And you know, a lot of people say I was a miserable bastard, you know, in there. And yeah, that's fine with me. You know what I mean? Like Frank, the guy comes up every Thursday. He used to tell me how guys used to come up and say, "Why are you friends with this dude?" But they wouldn't come up and say something to me because they knew better. Because at that time, I was crazier than a damn dingbat. You know, I didn't give a rat's ass. Because I figured I ain't never going to get out. But it's like a guy that comes up and gets a suit, a couple of suits from you. You know, when he asks for it, you know if he's going to bring it back or not. Now the 3 or 4 suits you give him don't mean shit. You know, you're talking 60 cents or 75 cents. Right. But it's worth it to me to give them those 3 or 4 suits
And never have to deal with him again.
Yeah, and watch him duck me.
Right.
You
You
know
never
what I'm
have to
saying?
deal with him again.
And then when he does get up in your face, you tell him, no, you don't owe me nothing.
Uh-huh.
You know, I didn't expect you to pay it back, and I don't want to hear about it. You know, and that way I know the guy ain't gonna come back
with some bullshit.
like, you know, a friend, a real friend, like Frank, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Give anything I got,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and if I don't give it back, I don't give a shit.
Right.
But if you can't afford to give it, you ain't
You
got no
shouldn't be,
business
right.
giving it.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. Can't afford to lose it. Don't give it up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But me and Frank,
Establish that.
40-year of friendship,
Right.
you know, inside. Outside, same thing. He
Right.
comes up every Thursday. It ain't about taking me to the store anymore.
It's about
It's about getting in the car and talking shit to each other.
right, which is crazy, but that's what it is. That's the nature of that relationship. And one of the things that you mentioned that I think is important that I want to touch on, which is the integrity. So when that person comes to you and they put those suits and things,
memorable things that it's easy to remember, what last 4 of your birthdays.
I can meet somebody. Sorry about that. So one of the things about when you loan something to somebody or whatever, and you knew chances were they wasn't gonna give it back to you, you got that feeling about that person.
Mhm.
And when they don't, now you don't have to ever talk to them again about it, but there's a level of integrity involved in that. And that's one of the things that's important in any relationship, is people got to be able to depend on what you say. If your word don't mean nothing, being your friend don't mean nothing.
When I was
Right.
when I was in Alabama, they had 50 cents every 3 weeks. That was, we paid 15 cents a week for work. But they gave us 50 cents, that extra nickel, because it was easier to give us a 50 cent.
That's just way crazy, but go ahead.
Anyhow, guys used to sell that 50-cent piece for a quarter.
Uh-huh.
You know, let me have a quarter, and when Saturday comes and we get
I'll
paid.
get it back.
I had a guy that lived up in the top part, what was a high
Mm-hmm.
$300-400 beds up there.
Mm-hmm.
This kid comes up and tells him, you know, let me get a quarter for it. And the guy said, no, because I know you already owe
Uh-huh.
half a dozen people.
Right.
Oh no, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. And the old man told him, and I'm sitting there. He said, son, I'm gonna give you this quarter. But if you don't give it back, I'm gonna kill you.
Wow.
Saturday comes,
Of course he didn't.
he catches him in the hall and he says, where's my quarter? And the kid says, oh, somebody else got me, but I'll take care of you. And he says, do you remember what I told you? And he stuck him to the wall.
And the
He
thing
came
about
up with a
that
piece
is,
like that.
and listen, you know, as I always say here, we're not here in any way, shape, or form glorifying violence or whatever, even though sometimes James need to be punched and stuff. So we had to do that. But outside of that, we're not. But it is the principle. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Is that if you're going to be in relationship, there's a level of integrity you need to have that people can count on your word,
Yeah.
and also know that that you're going to do the right thing by them. But again, so back to this particular point of listening to hear and understand what the other person is saying.
But if
a
your
lot of
words-
people,
if your word's no good, you're no good.
you're no good. And
Yeah.
a lot of people, again, particularly in conflict, they're just listening just so that they can respond. They're not listening because they don't really care what the other person is saying.
That's wrong.
They don't really care what the other person is saying. They're just listening because they know they have to at that particular moment. It's not about listening to come to some collective understanding or to determine how we're going to move forward in this situation. A lot of times is I'm going to let you talk, or this is even as bad. As soon as I hear you say a word that I think you're going in this direction, I stop listening and I assume that I know the rest of what you're going to say. I got the rest of the story. I already know what you're saying. And so I don't have to hear you. And I'm tuned out because now I'm formulating my response to what I think you said, what you're about to say, but it's not what I was going to say at all. And I can never convince you that that wasn't what I was going to say because you done already decided that what the end of the sentence is. And when you do that, you got to be a good listener. You got to listen to understand and hear it all the way out. And a lot of times it's hard because guess what? A lot of times people be feeding bullshit.
True.
Yeah, you know, and it's hard to just sit through bullshit, right?
I don't.
Just being clear, it's hard.
I don't.
But
I have to do that on study, like, listen, I don't have time for all this.
right.
I'm gonna stop listening to you, so let's just stop.
And you know what? And then there's another thing too of this is one of my pet peeves. The person who gonna keep me on the phone listening to them and their story about whatever they've been going through, and they asking my advice and they ain't gonna take not near piece of advice I give them. Not near piece of advice that I'm gonna give them. They gonna go ahead and do what they was gonna do anyway, and they not listening to nothing I said.
You know, I didn't.
And I don't like that.
I didn't feel good one day, and I on the weekend, and I called her, and she said, "What do you need?" I said, "Just to talk."
Okay.
I didn't need.
You just
anything.
needed a listener.
I just needed somebody to talk to.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, that's all I wanted.
And it's just about listening. It's just about listening. So that's one of the things when you build a relationship, you got to be a good listener. Anybody in here before I go on to the next one got something they want to add to that before I move on? Okay, let me go to the next one. The next one is
Maureen.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
When people are speaking the truth, or when they're speaking the truth rings out. When you lying, when somebody lying to you, it sounds flat.
Doesn't it go thud?
It goes like a dud.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the truth rings out with hey, that's true. You can feel it, you can hear it in your soul, and you know it to be true.
Yes, it have a ring to it. And you know what I decided is that it resonates with the soul. The truth is, even if I never heard it before, if you speaking the truth, it's like, oh, that makes sense, or oh, that's right, huh? And you be like, oh, that's right, because it has a ring to it. That's the truth. And that was Kit, wasn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
It does. It really does have. So the next one is ask the right questions. The best way for people to know that they have been listened to and heard, they're not always the same thing, is to repeat what we heard them say in our own words. When people know that we're making a sincere attempt to hear them, they begin to seek us out and want to spend time with us. They share more of themselves with us. Unfortunately, the narcissists know this too well. They listen carefully, feed back to people what they are saying, and give the impression that they're in line with the person they're seeking. The problem is that they're only listening to gain an advantage for themselves. This is where that toxic, narcissistic person, but when you listen, people want to feel heard. And if you can repeat back to them what it is that they just said and acknowledge that you understand what they said, it's going to cause people to want to be around you more. But again, being careful and understanding that a narcissistic person is listening because they're only trying to get an advantage. I'll tell you like this. It's for any of y'all that might be old enough to remember the song, The Cleanup Woman. And the cleanup woman, she was going to take that man in. But what she would do is she gonna listen to all of his complaints about his woman. She gonna listen to all them complaints, and she gonna try to do all the things that he say she's not doing, so that she can make herself appear to be the perfect thing or the perfect one for this man. Well, the reality is she ain't no different either, because guess what? It's easy to be always pretty and always smelling nice and always sweet and kind when you only got to do that once or twice out the month. Oh, you see what I'm saying? If you only got to be sweet and loving all the time, 3, 4, 5 days a month, well, hell, anybody could do that. But now when we gotta talk, Mr. Stevens, when we gotta start talking about who gonna pay the light bill, and did the trash get taken out, did the kids get to school, and Diane's dog need dog food, and see when we doing all that, look, need a new tutu, and who gonna take it to the dog groomer, and who? Okay. Now it's the mundane of the mundane, living in the mundane world, and it gets monotonous, and it's not a lot of fun, but it's the reality. You got to get up, you got to shower every day, you got to clean, somebody got to cook. Who's doing that? Somebody got to clean the house. Okay, when you get into all of those things, it's less time on the table and less time on your plate for you to be able to be, looking pretty and just catering to whatever his or her needs are. So people do that. People who are looking to step into somebody else's position will begin to listen for what they say they want, and then try to become that person. That's why I advocated. I try to tell women, don't do all the talking when you first meet a person. Listen to them.
Wait, hold up.
Listen to them too.
Hold up.
What's happening? What y'all fighting about? What y'all fighting about? Wait a minute. We got a fight breaking down the back, y'all. We got a fight breaking down the back.
Hold up.
What happened? What happened? We did something. We don't know what we did, but what happened?
The men need to shut the fuck up and listen to what a woman says. Because a lot of times women will tell you what they want, what they need, who they are, and what they're looking for in the future. If you're not in that category or in them categories, it's just stepping.
Well, but that's all true. But the fact of the matter is this, is that women need to, I will tell you, yes, a woman will say what they want and so will a man. But this is the difference. Women tend to be chatty. So a woman gonna tell a man everything she wants, and whether he's that or not, he gonna act like that's him.
But see, the thing
he gonna act like that's him.
Then, what I tell you, in 30 days,
it's all gonna fall.
He's not gonna hold up that facade for 30 days. So whether he lie and try to be that to get the booty, guess what? Don't give it up, Judy. Wait.
Well, that's what I say. I learned that from y'all. I mean, of course, I knew some of that on my own, but I definitely learned that from y'all. Is that whatever behavior you want from a man, you better get it before you give up the panties. Now that's just what y'all taught me, okay? But the thing of it is that when you're around people who are narcissistic and they're only looking to take advantage, it's a different thing. What happens is they listen to you and they start to figure out how they can impress you and manipulate you. They want to manipulate you. And yes, and listen, and I would say that for everybody. Sometimes what you need to do is you need to listen. You need to listen and not give up all the information, is all I'm saying. Very early on, what you want to do is you want to pay attention. You want to be a good listener, but also you want to make sure that you're and while you're listening for those things that the people are not saying. But sometimes you can learn more from what they're not saying than what they are saying. As in they call it reading between the lines. Okay, reading between the lines. Yeah, I had a guy tell me one day, he didn't realize that he was telling me this, but he was saying, he said that his friends, a lady he used to date, her daughter was like 21 or something, and one day she started calling him dad. And he said to me, I told her, oh, I'm not your dad. I'm not your dad. And I said to him, I said, you don't want to be responsible for nobody. He said, no, that's what I be trying to tell people. I don't want to be responsible for nothing. So you know what that told me? He ain't gonna never commit to you, boo, because he don't want to be responsible for nothing. But he didn't know that that's what he said based on his comment. He didn't know that that's what I heard. And I understood it, and guess what? That's been 10 years ago, and he still ain't committed to nobody.
Because he told the truth.
Because he did tell the truth, but this is the thing. You got to be listening, like I say, not just what he said. He did. No, he said he don't want to be responsible.
That's the truth. If you want to decipher, he didn't say.
He didn't come out
and commit.
Right. That's true. That's true. He did not. You're right. Right.
Now, the reason why is because you didn't ask the right questions.
I wasn't because the conversation wasn't even about me and him. See, that's what I'm saying, when you listening and you hearing what they're saying and you reading what they're not saying. So when he made the statement, and I said to him, I said, you don't want to be responsible for nothing. He said, that's what he was like, good, she understands what I'm saying. But he didn't realize that I understood that applied to me too. Right? Some people would hear that and think that that was a good thing. No, not if you're trying to be in a relationship with somebody.
No.
If I want to be in a committed relationship with this man, that's not a good thing for me because he has no intention on committing to me and being committed and nobody else. So that's the other thing. I don't have to worry about it because I certainly don't have to compete for his attention because he's not committing to nothing.
Well, he told the truth.
He did tell the truth. He did.
Just like
he did, but it didn't have any bearing on me.
Want to hear the truth because guess what? I want this man.
Yes.
And I'm gonna make this man my husband.
Yes, and that's not never gonna happen. And it's not never gonna happen.
Guess what? That what you just put the bull in the china shop.
Yes.
Because he's not going to be.
And I see, and what you did is you set yourself up to fail. If you set up expectations that's unrealistic because this person has already showed you what they do and what they don't want. And what you did is you decided, oh, I'm going to make this situation what I want it to be. You cannot change people. You cannot change people. However you find them is what, if you can live with what you found the day you walked up on them, then that's fine. If not, you are fooling yourself to believe that miraculously somehow being with you is going to change who they are, change the circumstance. Yes, you wanted to say something.
When I was young, and I was out there robbing and carrying on, having a good time. Now the women that I met with, I had no intentions of being serious with them. You know, because most of them was barmaids and so forth. But they knew I wasn't going to be serious.
Right.
You know, I mean, some people just don't want to be serious. They just want to have a good time, and so does the other person.
Sure.
You know, don't say it's just men.
No.
Because I know women that want to just have a good time, and you know, when it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months later,
or whenever it hit me, Look, listen.
It is.
Well, when you say,
sort of a
wait, she don't say nothing all the time. So what did you say, sweetie?
she said it's the relationship.
Because the relationship, and then you doing 1, 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
and that's what happens. So what happens is,
you said,
right.
Like that.
So that's why I was just having this conversation the other day, explaining to somebody that the reason that the casual relationships don't work is because ultimately what you're doing, well,
Didn't have to tell them.
well, wait, no, I don't believe that that's true. I don't believe that that's true. I'm gonna tell you from here. So what we the kind of debate that's going on back here with them is that he never in the peanut gallery. She called it peanut gallery. What's going on in the peanut gallery is that they're saying that those women that he was fooling with, that he needed to tell them, he didn't tell them that this was just for play. And he's saying in some of those cases, he didn't have to tell them that. And I'm going to tell you, I know that that's the case. Let me tell you how I know. Been there, done that. I've been the girl that said, oh no, I just want to play with you.
Yeah.
Okay. But let me tell you what the problem is. But let me tell you, and even, listen, and we didn't have to say nothing. Me and them knew. We both knew that this was just for play. But we both knew. But let me tell you this. But Roberta's point is at the end of the day what it all comes down to. And what happens is, particularly as you begin to have intimate relationships more often, and I'm talking about sex. Once you begin to do that, if you do it too regularly, somebody's going to want more. Somebody's going to want it more often. Somebody's feelings are going to get caught up. So what happens is that, and the reason for that, there's a reason, and that's because sexual relations are too intimate of an engagement to do it casually. Yes. Right? Wow. It's just over a long period of time. It is. But you don't know because you never lasted that long. No. Is what I'm saying, right?
I know I did.
Right, but what I'm saying is, but this is the thing, is that it's too intimate a behavior to engage in on a consistent basis where somebody is not going to want more. You wanted to say something?
No, I
I'm
was
gonna
just
say
waiting
one
for
thing.
the time to get-
I'm gonna say one thing. FWB, and we all know what FWB, friends with benefits.
Oh, okay.
Okay, friends with benefits is a relationship.
It's a nature of one.
It is a relationship.
It is.
Because whether you do it once, 50 or 100, it's a friend with benefits. So guess what? It's a relationship. Whether I was a truck driver, I stop at a town. I know one broad in this town that I see when I'm going this route.
Yeah.
That is the type of relationship that I have because I'm on that highway. So when we sit up here and say, "Oh, she was nothing but a booty call," that's still a relationship.
It is. It's a type of relationship.
And when Noreen say, "Well, we knew what it was. We just playing around." Yeah, they both knew that it was friends with benefits. You my boy toy, you my girl toy. Guess what? I ain't got to go screw over here because I got my Wednesday with Noreen. I got my Thursday with you. I got my Friday with you. So it's
Get on.
it's the same.
No. I'm gonna start getting bothered.
Right.
I'm gonna start getting bothered by Wednesday and Thursday.
Right.
Even
Yes.
though
Because guess what? It's a
But
relationship.
you, but.
For me, it's the same thing. Whether I want to believe it or not, it's still a relationship because
then
it
I don't
becomes
want you to be
habitual.
loyal. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, this is how I see it. So this is a whole benefit. to
You don't want a casual relationship.
No. Let me-
Okay.
So we in this thing,
Right.
and so guess what? If I start stepping out a little bit with this thing, you're gonna get bothered.
Oh, boy.
However, you got
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday and
Oh,
Thursday,
boy.
but I'm
Oh,
supposed to
boy.
sit here and look like a lady.
Oh
But
boy.
no.
Yes,
I'm not
indeed.
trying to- but
Yes,
see, that's-
indeed.
and-
You
and-
absolutely right. Because
but-
guess what? No,
I'm not
because
trying to- I
and
never
yes,
said- I never
yes.
said I was trying to share.
Right. Right. He never
But
said he was
look,
trying to share.
Look, I never said I was trying to share. I said Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Right.
Because guess what?
But you're absolutely right.
They're all relationships.
And this is the
In
thing.
one form
And
or
let me tell
another.
you this. And let me say this.
Oh, I'm gonna catch feelings because I'm expecting my Thursday to be on time, my Wednesday to be on time. And if you step out, that means our souls have just brought another soul in, and it's going to stir that pot.
Yeah, but see, that's all right. See, what as long as it usually for the men, as long as they're the ones playing, and that women,
That's
women
all
is
I
sitting
was getting
around, that's okay with them.
It's the friend.
But all of a sudden, let that woman start seeing somebody else and let her start having some other friends with benefits.
Oh,
Like,
shucky ducky. My big sister coming out here. I ain't trying to look. Your man is sharing and I ain't sharing.
okay. Oh my God.
Sharing
And Mr. Hill, did you hear what he just said? He said your name ain't Sharon, and he is Sharon.
That is,
But it is.
that's where men.
Yes.
That's what, remember when I told you about the girl in prison that was like the boy? They don't care that she got like, she lived in the room with two girls who were girlfriends. She got a girl in each unit, but because she's like a guy, they're accepting it. But when one of the girls, she would have a girlfriend, the girlfriend would leave and she'd be with a new girl tonight. They said she was a hoe. What is that? What you call it do?
Right.
Same thing.
And listen,
Truth be told, man are tricks.
but this is also the thing about that too, is that I don't care what nobody says. There is a double standard.
It is.
Women cannot do what men do. I don't care how we cut it. Even if you do it, you're not going to be treated or handled the same way. Period.
That's
Period. That's it. And that's
goes
all.
back to
It's just
Adam
not.
and Eve, and
It's
that
not
goes
gonna
back
happen.
to
The reality is,
days of
Friday, don't he down leave? He had her every
But
day
then
of
you
the week.
gotta understand, it was bad, but it was Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday going on.
I think we done stepped in it today, y'all. I think we done stepped in it today, y'all, because they.
What's
The housemaid.
Oh Lord, here come trouble. Look, we done stepped in it today. You don't need no house. You don't need no house.
The housemaid got here.
So listen, wait. Ding, 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 ding. Everybody back to their quarters. Look, everybody back to their quarters. Everybody back to their quarters. Because listen, look. They something else. Okay, look. Ooh, they rounded up. Y'all look in the back. Okay, it's not good. It's not good. But listen. But oh my gosh. Y'all help me. Can y'all help me get the people? Can y'all help me? They too much over here. But listen, honestly,
You started.
these are the. I know I did start it. I did it. And look, and I'm glad I did, because the reality is this. Again, I'm gonna say this, and no matter how you want to clean it up or whatever you want to say, that friends with benefits stuff is dangerous territory. Because somebody, and it's dangerous because somebody is going to want more. Somebody is going to become attached, and they're going to want more out of it. If nothing else, okay. If nothing else, somebody's going to want more. Again, like I said, you got to understand that the friends with benefits, the benefit is normally a sexual benefit, okay? And when you start having sex, it is too intimate of a relationship or behavior for you to engage in on a regular basis without feelings becoming attached, and for it to be casual. There's no way to do that on a consistent basis. And listen, yes, two consenting adults can certainly consent to do whatever they want. They can consent up front, whether it's verbally with an agreement, I see you, or whether it is by behavior, by just engaging in sex with a person and you haven't had no conversation and no understanding about what it's gonna mean. Okay, because some people do that too. We hanging out, and all of a sudden we just start engaging in this, and we don't even have no conversation about, well, now, if I give you these panties, we's in a relationship now. They don't even say nothing, and then they start acting funny, and then they continue to do it because they never had no conversation. So again, there is something about being in that, continuing to engage in that becomes very dangerous. It becomes, because people's feelings get hurt, and a lot of people will fight you more for being hurt than they will for being mad. But you want to say something.
I don't.
Wait 1 second.
I was gonna say 9 times out of 10, when a woman is having consistent relationships with a man, when a woman is having consistent relationship with a man, she is gonna get some type of opinion. She's gonna get a certain kind of attachment to the person that she's having intercourse with.
Yes.
The bottom line.
It just is, because we tend to be emotional,
Very emotional.
right? But let's not lose Roberta's point either, which is because they are too. They catch feelings too. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
But when women get mad,
Mad or tired.
no, mad. It's just like I had this woman I was living with, and I cut her loose. I'm laying in my bed. This is back in the day. She breaks my window out. So, of course, I reach under the pillow and I go out there to cap whoever did it. And I see it's her. I'm gonna tell you how dumb I am. I'm wanted in Alabama. I'm wanted in California, what I was in. This cop comes to my house, because somebody called him, right? And he says, and I told him, I said, this crazy broad broke my window. You know, That's what happened.
And you don't have no business talking to them because you
No.
want it.
Yeah, but watch this. This cop kept dogging me. Would you do? Would you do?
Because you did
Yeah,
something.
yeah, but wait a minute. I don't tell you how stupid I am. I go down to the police station and find a captain and ask them what the hell's the matter with their police officer.
See,
I
something
got
is
no
wrong with
more
you.
business in there than a man in the moon.
Right. That's gonna tell you, listen, we do not advocate any of what he talking about.
No, I'm
Not
just
none of it,
saying,
'cause
you
listen,
get
The
stupid.
level of stupidity is way over the top.
Who
But guess
started it?
guess
Now,
where it
who
started?
it?
Where it
The
started?
female.
No, let me tell you where it started. I was getting ready to tell you.
You started it with your dick.
Wait,
You started it with your dick.
But
You
this,
didn't let that lady back in.
you wasn't supposed to have that woman get that mad at you to break your window when you wanted by Alabama
Most
and California.
Most women, when they get mad, it's just like I will not date
But listen.
a redhead.
but wait, listen,
Redhead,
wait.
no, hold it. A redhead is the best lover in the world. A redhead, a natural redhead. But get them mad.
Oh, yeah, she
They're
gonna
the
tell
most
you that.
dangerous
Let me just.
person in the world.
So now it's the color of their damn hair, okay? It don't have nothing to do with his behavior toward the redheads. It don't have nothing to do with that. It don't have nothing to do like the fact, because let's be clear. Remember what he said? He broke up with her
Yeah,
and
probably.
left,
Yeah,
okay?
I
And
got
that's,
one down
so
there.
there was some reason why she felt
You want
like
these?
he
Go
was still
ahead.
supposed to be there. Hey, y'all. Wait,
He wants to know about the pizza.
He got pizza in his hand.
I'm thinking it's for
In
the
his
group, and I
hand.
just
You
thought
can
about
have
it.
some, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But he waited till
absolutely.
after you picked it up.
No, but I thought
Oh,
about
it's
it.
kind of late? Okay. That's okay. It's all right. So
That's a
listen.
relationship.
Yeah.
We all in a relationship.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, the thing is
Mike
this,
was in a relationship.
regardless of what you conjure in your own head it to be, it naturally is two people exchanging souls.
Yes.
Ooh, that's deep.
And
Yes.
when it exchanges souls, it comes to a level of nothing has to be said. How many times you have been in a relationship with a woman? Did you ever ask her to be your woman? No. Y'all implied by the exchanging of souls, meeting at the same time. I don't believe in a soulmate. I believe in a soul meet because I only mate with God. So soul meet is when it comes with
Look here,
y'all quit beating me up. I ain't scared of y'all this week.
There's women that just wants to go out and have some fun, and that's.
But they women are hard to have fun without feelings.
Right.
They can tell you. They can tell you that they just want to have fun, but in actuality, how many women actually gonna tell you the truth that I want you and I want to be with you?
Oh, I've done that. I've done it, but let me tell you what the difference is. Let me tell you what is the difference is. What Roberta keeps saying is the level of consistency. I can't do that over a long period of time, because I'm going to catch feelings or they're going to catch feelings. It's going to go one way or the other. Because, like you say, you combining stuff. So what happens is that what I know that I've done it this way. I thought that I could handle it. So I thought, now mind you, this is when I was young. This is when I was young. This is when I was young and I didn't know any better, that I didn't understand the nature of doing this exchange like this. So I thought that I could actually be engaged in sex and not have a commitment and have an open relationship and all of this stuff, and that it was going to be a problem. But what happened is, as I got into it more and more, I wanted more. I realized that I was actually committing to this relationship. I was not having another relationship, and this person had the flexibility whenever he felt like it to have somebody else, because I was in a whole relationship, but I was in it by myself. Even though he made sure to monopolize all my time. For example, when I was off of work, he made sure that I spent my time with him. On the weekends, he made sure that I was at his house the whole weekend. When it was time for me to go on vacation, he paid for and took me on them vacations. When it was time to go to the movies, he took me to the movies. All of them things, he made sure that he monopolized my entire time and the whole time. Well, he was in one. Yeah, because he cried like a baby for days when I left him. But
Yeah.
but beside the point, the fact of the matter was, no, he did. The fact of the matter is that at the time I thought that I could handle it. And what wound up happening is I realized that I couldn't because I actually wanted more. But when I agreed to this open relationship, I didn't realize.
What are you talking about? You wanted more. It sounded like you had them all
But she didn't have him to
week.
herself.
I didn't have him to myself. And what happened is, what it was is that I'm gonna come right to you. What happened was he didn't have to commit to me. Whenever he decided that he was gonna run off and go be with somebody else, he had the option to do that. Okay, because he didn't have a commitment to me.
Well, didn't you still have the same option to go?
I did have that option.
But even if she would have, he would have blew it.
And let me tell you something. The fact of the matter is all that's the truth. Because one day when I decided, I'm done and I'm getting ready to go see somebody else, he had a fit. He started stalking. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, no, for real, he did. He started stalking. He drove from Pomona at his job in the middle of the night to my house in Pasadena to look in my window because I wasn't answering my phone because he thought the dude was over there. Okay, he was right. He looking in the window, and it was the summertime, and he put his hand through my window and touched my head when I was asleep. But you wanted to say something, Cheryl.
But the key said, what did you say she just didn't have it on her?
I said she had it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's exactly right.
So mine, the reason I say evidently I ain't got no feelings because I dated a married man for years and years and years. And we're in a relationship, but I understood that he was married. The only thing we didn't do is get married. And he said to me, that's with a piece of paper. You know?
It is because he's messing around his wife with you.
But this is the thing.
More feelings for you than he did for his wife because if he cared that much about his wife, he wouldn't have never stepped out on her.
This is the thing.
So,
what it is? No, because let me tell you. Let me say this. But let me say this about that though. Let me say this about that. What she did.
Or sad.
No, because you know what it was.
I hope his wife don't die. Then he had to live with me.
Wait, but see, there go the truth of the matter. No, there go the truth of the matter. You didn't want the responsibility of him. You didn't want that full-time responsibility.
I didn't.
Right? No, you didn't. And that's why it was acceptable, because I was getting ready to tell you that before you even said that. Is that the only reason that worked is because you didn't want the full-time responsibility. And what you provided him was that outlet that he needed to be able to stay with that wife, because that's where he was going to stay either way. And you allowed him that outlet. It's like a little bit of pressure. Whatever you was providing, she wasn't providing. And so now he had the best of both worlds. He had his wife, he had his wife, and he had you, and he had all of that. And as long as it's working for you, it was fine. The only one who had a problem with it would have been the wife. Exactly. That's what she found out, right? Because she probably, unless she knew. Now listen.
She found out when the baby came.
Oh Lord. Some wives don't care. Some wives are going to be there regardless. Okay, they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere, and they don't care about that man going off somewhere and doing what he's doing. And I'm telling you, consenting adults can consent to whatever they want to consent to. I'm just telling you that I knew when she said that she was with this married man for all of these years, that it was only because you didn't want the full-time responsibility. It was perfectly fine for him to give you part-time because that's all you wanted to be responsible for.
You know, I remember a dude telling me, like you said, that what a man and a woman does in their own room.
Yeah.
There's nothing that they can do that's wrong.
Right.
You know how I am.
Uh-huh.
I asked her to do that. Well, she slept on a 9-inch dildo.
Hey, this is all rated. This is not all rated.
That's just awful.
There is something you can do in that bedroom.
We're not gonna let him worry us. Okay. So listen. So wait. So now I wanna do one more, and then we're gonna close out for the night. I want to look at one more of those things that you do in building relationships.
Maureen, but I thought you were supposed to tell me this is not X-rated.
Huh?
I thought you were supposed to tell me this is not X-rated.
Well, we didn't know that it was gonna be X-rated. Listen, let me tell you something. we only going with whatever, however it go. Oville, look, I let the spirit lead. Whatever happen. Okay, this for grown folks. And if you can't be grown up in here to go on, this is not the place for the fainted heart, because we really trying to heal some things and trying to understand some things. You see what I'm saying? It's raw and uncut, because we gotta understand it. We can't fix nothing pussyfooting around. Okay, pun intended. Right. But look, so pay attention to the whole person. Listen, y'all, check this out. When people are speaking, pay attention to their body language. Pay attention to the body language. If it doesn't match the words they're saying, there may be something more going on than what you're discussing. This will give you insight into them, and your questions and attention to them will lead to a deeper conversation and lead to developing trust and strong connections. So you got to pay attention to the whole thing. But wait, what y'all talking about back here that y'all can't? What happened, Cheryl? Oh, okay. So that's one of the things. I was gonna say that's the after conversation. That's it, right? This is we got free to heal, and then we got after free to heal. So this is the thing.
I'm not gonna be cool with you.
What happened?
We're not hanging out. Don't call my phone. Don't do nothing. I'm not cool with a woman that's having sex with my husband. I'm not cool with you. We're not.
No.
Once again, you had him. I ain't doing that.
Right. And listen, there are some people who will, and some people who don't care.
No, but I said because I go visit her every Sunday after church.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
But this is many years later. You done been in prison for 14, 17 years, whatever, and all that stuff ever since then. And all of that changes. Okay. But again, I'm coming right to you. But again, this is the thing. The next point was pay attention to the whole person. And I want to say, not just when you're having a conversation and paying attention to body language, but I want to say, what is that person's
You have to see your prison. That's not my fault.
I didn't think that.
The natives are restless tonight. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do y'all please pray for me? The natives are restless. Mr. Hill, I'm gonna need you next week. I'm gonna need you to come in here so you can referee, okay? Because somebody got Mr. Hall, Mr. Hill, somebody, can y'all come and referee the people? Because I'm telling you that I need a referee for these people back here. I'm trying to get them in their corners, but they not going. It's not working. Okay, yeah. So wait.
I got to wear my referee shirt. Make sure that happens.
Thank you. I just so appreciate it because I'm outnumbered. I'm outgunned today, and they just doing it. And what you want to say now, Pike? Go ahead. What you gonna say?
Well, they were talking about the other lady. But when my dad married my mom, he was the lady he was married to. My mom used to go there and bring food and clothes for those kids.
Oh, they're your sibling?
Not really.
No, because they were her kids, not with him. Okay.
Yeah, but my mother seen she was having a hard time. And brought her food, clothes, and they became friends. You know what I'm saying?
But see, you know what? You also talking about around the Depression era too.
No.
Right? 30s, 40s?
No.
He's 70-something.
I was born in 49.
Okay, so you would.
So we're talking in the 50s.
Okay, but no, yeah, it is. But see, them Depression era people born in the Depression era. Your mom and them was born in the Depression era. So their sensibilities at that time was such that yes, if she gonna need help, you see what I'm saying, that you might remember that. So yeah, but listen, not everybody, like Diane said, everybody ain't gonna sign up for that. Everybody ain't gonna sign up for that. But sometimes necessity will kick in, and circumstances will kick in, and people are going to need that kind of help. But I'm gonna say this. Right, and I'm gonna say this. Is that you gotta pay, when it says pay attention to the whole person, again, not just the body language, but what you're trying to pay attention to is all of what's going on in their lives. For example, I'm at an age right now where a lot of my friends are doing elder care, right? So if I'm gonna deal with a guy, I want to know, is it possible I'm gonna have to start wiping your mama's behind and all this? I gotta take all that stuff into consideration before I decide I want to be with you. You understand what I'm saying? No, for real. Because it's the truth. Like you got to pay attention to all of what's going on in their life. Are they getting ready to come up on retirement age? Again, I'm just at that age where all of those things make a difference. I don't want to be with a man right now that got a 5-year-old.
What am I gonna do with that?
Listen, it ain't gonna be able to happen because you know why? Because the 5-year-old got too much energy.
That's too much for me.
It's way too much work for me. So again, you got to pay attention to the whole person. And there are people, I can tell you this, in my 30s, I gave up a good man because he wanted children. He didn't have any children. And my son was already 13, and I could see the end of the road where I was standing. And the notion that I was going to go back and start having babies for him was zero. And I told him up front when I first met him, I said, hey, this is an issue. He said, no, I can deal with it. But what he thought is that I was going to change, and he confessed that later. He thought that he could convince me to change based on whatever. I let him go. This is another thing, stay true to yourself. I let him go. He went and got married to some lady, had 2 babies for her, and died of a heart attack at 40 and left her with 2 small children. I was like, woo, glad I listened to my own mind. He was looking out for me because he knew I would have been mad. Them kids probably would have been child abuse messing around with me. Every time, listen, they would have been child abuse. Shit, let me tell you something. Listen, look, let me tell you. They say that, but every time, and guess what? And every time I had to do something for them and sacrifice for myself what I wanted to do because of them, I would have been mad. Even if I didn't physically abuse them, my mouth would have been quick, my patience would have been different, and all of those things because I would have been resentful. Because I had my son at 20 years old. So by the time I'm talking now, if I'm starting at 33, 34 to have more kids, that means my entire adult life would have been spent raising kids. I would have never had the years that I have right now just to myself. So I would have been resentful, you know? So the bottom line is that you got to pay attention to the whole person. You got to pay attention. Hey, check it out. Check their credit report. Did it occur to anybody? Y'all need to check out what kind of credit they got? Everybody, yes, you need to know all of those things. Yes.
I'm a broke mother.
But listen, you need to know what kind of values they have, what kind of belief system that they have. You need to pay attention. And again, at my age, I need to know, is he in good health or not? Because guess what? I don't want to have to be a nursemaid either. And let me tell you what I told a friend of mine. I told a friend of mine when he was coming up on 50. He was coming up on 50 years old, and I told him, hey, you know, you probably really need to start settling down with somebody because you don't want to wait until you're old and broke down before you decide to start settling down with somebody. And now they gotta be, now they gotta be a nursemaid, okay? He did not take my advice, and guess what? He died at 55, and by the time he decided to start, he died this year, as a matter of fact, okay? And literally was sick for like the last 9 to 10 months of his life, went back to a girl that he was dating on and off throughout the years, and she became his nursemaid. Wow. He didn't have no damn house. And she couldn't keep his Cadillac because his Cadillac was in somebody else's name and all this other old stuff. See, so what it is that you, at some point, you gotta, again, look at the whole person, look at all of what's going on, ask the right questions, okay? Try to find out what's actually going on with the whole person. Who are they? What inspires them, and those kinds of things.
In this investigation.
Huh? The only thing you do, you said, what was your question?
At what point did you begin this investigation?
Day one.
No.
Day one. Absolutely. Day one. Listen,
You're taking a lot of
listen, when you say when do you start the investigation, the only thing that's going to reveal all of these answers is time. You don't sit down with somebody and start saying, so how old is your mom and daddy? Are they in good health? So what kind of help? Like, you don't sit down and do that, but you're listening. But listening, the investigation starts day one. The investigation starts the day that you meet them. You need to start understanding who this is, and you need to be listening and looking at more than whether they got a big behind.
Right.
Okay, you need to be listening, right? Yeah, or whether you need to be duh. And you need to find out, and a man needs to find out whether she got more than a big booty, and a woman need to find out whether he got more than a big thing going on down there. Okay, that's the truth of the matter. We need to know more about this person than just what's on the surface. But you got to start listening. You got to listen well. You got to take into consideration, and what you begin to learn, you learn it through listening to their conversation, listening to the things that they engage in, listening to their exchanges as they tell you about what happened at work today. You can listen to how they treat other people and how they think about situations, which is going to tell you and give you insight into how they're going to treat you. So that investigation starts day one. And this is why you got to be careful, and it's not good to jump into the sexual relationship too early, because it begins to cloud things. See, listen, let me tell you like this. If I'm doing this, y'all gonna be mad. Y'all gonna be mad. Y'all gonna be mad, but I'm gonna tell y'all this. If I'm going, oh,
Take you on.
I can't see. I can't see you. My damn eyes is closed. Okay, I'm caught up in an orgasm and I can't see you. I can't see you. I can't see your true self. And then that begins to cloud. And if it's really good, then I'm chasing that versus paying attention to who you actually are. It's like a crackhead. I start hitting, trying to get that hit again. You see what I'm saying? And I'm focused more on that than I am on the reality of who you are and what the relationship is.
Exactly. Relationship turn into trauma.
So you're saying if you have an orgasm, you gotta have your eyes open.
Well, no, normally them eyes be closed. Look, I had a friend, that same friend, he told me, he said, look, let me tell you what happened. Tell you what happened. The man gonna lose his neck on the orgasm. He gonna lose his neck, okay? And her eyes is closed. So look, ain't nobody paying attention to that. Everybody lost sight of everything because we doing okay? Can't nobody, I can't see that. You can't hear that. And now we all confused and we so busy chasing that hit again that we are not paying attention to what's actually going on. And the real relationship is a good hit. Hey, I ain't nobody arguing against that. But the bottom line is, depending on what you want as a person is what makes the difference. You got to decide for yourself what it is that you want and whether or not it's worth it for you to engage in this kind of relationship or to engage in any of those things without getting what you want or knowing what it is. And you got to have conversation. You can't just assume that we know what's going on. I wound up living with somebody for years and it just kind of happened. It just kind of happened. What taints what, baby? I'm gonna need you to come and speak up because I want to make sure they can hear you.
If you enter every potential encounter from the perspective of who is this person, what can they bring to the table? At the end of the day, you're creating a checklist, and they may check off every box, but it's then that you start to evaluate the person from a positive light. What I'm saying is that you can say that you got to a point or position of love, et cetera, but really you graded this person, and they don't have a D+, they have a B- or even an A. So that's the reason why you proceeded forward. I understand in the long term, for listening to a person, understanding character. But to me, if you start from day one, just looking at a person's perspective, that means every potential encounter, part of you is standing back, evaluating, like, okay, let me see if I can work with you. You have to just, having.
Did you do that on the prison yard?
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about having sex with it.
No, but even still, no, but it's relationship. No, but relationship.
What you just said, I wasn't thinking about having sex with you. Immediately, that's your first thought. Oh, she's pretty.
Right.
So you evaluating stuff too.
The point I'm trying to make is this, though.
Wait. The first thing that attracts a man and a woman It's the outer shell.
It's the physical.
Sure.
That's true.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
I look at your nails and they clipping.
Are you right about that?
I'm not looking at your Disney.
But then you might
I'm
be
looking
one
at
of,
your teeth.
you looking at,
The way your skin
but you
is
looking
and
at
stuff.
something.
Yeah,
it's
but it's
something
not, but you're
that's
looking at
attractive.
boobs and.
I'm looking at
eyes.
something attractive. Like I can look at a woman's eyes and say she got some beautiful eyes. I can
Absolutely.
look at a woman's glow and say she has.
Absolutely. But
I
listen,
don't always look at the booty because sometimes you
There's two different
you can
things.
look at a woman's booty and get to it and say, man, I just wasted my life. Because it may not be what you thought it was. Okay, so a lot of times we're all in a mistaken expectation
sure.
of what a relationship is about.
But this is the
Later
thing.
on.
But this is the thing. It's not about what Howard was saying is you're all, if you're doing this, then you're always evaluating somebody and you meet somebody. Listen, you need to be doing that. That's what it really should be. You need to be evaluating, and I will tell you this. I'll use something that's in the news currently. That is Nia Long and her dude. Nia Long and her dude been engaged since 2015. We are in 2022. There's no point to be engaged that long. What it is he wasn't trying to marry her, and she was like you. She didn't care whether he married her or not. You understand? She didn't care whether it ever actually got consummated because in terms of on paper, for whatever her reasons are, I can't tell you what that is. But the bottom line is that they both know that they didn't intend to marry each other. They wanted the engagement for whatever it looked like on paper, but neither one of them, none of them, right, for what it looked like on the public sphere, because she has a 10-year-old son by him. So that's why she wanted to be engaged, not because she really wants to marry him. But let me tell you something. That dude knew, because men know in the first 6 months or less, it don't even take them that long to decide what place a woman can hold in their life.
If they've been together,
They know.
How is it that women always know what men
Listen, I'm only telling you what men told me.
I know that.
I'm telling you what men told me. I ain't talking about speculating, dude. Hey, don't play with me, because I'm telling you what they told me. Now, if it's a lie, they told it. If it's a lie, it's men that told me that. I didn't make that up. They told me they know very quickly, in a very short period of time, what position that woman can hold. For example, this dude here, he knew she was never going to be his wife because of what was going on in his life. He knew that the day he laid eyes on her.
Whoa. I heard his conversation. It had nothing to do with her. That was all about his life and his lifestyle. You can't use him as an example.
That's what I just said.
No, she can't use it. No, but what I'm saying is, she spoke from perspective of when you meet a woman that we as men know that her nature, whether or not we can accept that long term.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
No.
Listen,
He said the women he was messing with knew he wasn't gonna be with them.
because I knew I was going back to
and he
prison.
selected them. But listen, what I'm telling you, but I'm saying it's both. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you, men have told me over and over again, okay, that they know very quickly whether this woman, from talking to her, whether or not she's wife material to them, whether or not she's just booty call material, whether or not she's none of those things. A man, I've had him tell me, I could look at a woman, like I had a man, that same friend I told y'all that's deceased, he said he could do one of them, and he done looked and see everything about her, all up under her clothes and everything else that he can imagine in a very short period of time, because he's just that skilled at looking at women and deciding, and he'll talk to her for a very short period of time. If she don't have a decent enough conversation, then he know, oh, she only over here. She could be in this box, but she can't never fulfill this. Now that's what they told me. I can't tell you whether that's right or not, but I can tell you that's what I done had too many of them tell me that.
Let me tell you what some my grandfather and my father. Mm-hmm. And I took their word as gold. Mm-hmm. My father walked me in a grocery store. And done it out with microwave foods was.
And I want you to speak up, make sure they can hear you.
And when they showed me the women all getting microwave food, my grandfather said, that's not wife material.
See, I'm telling you.
Then they took me over to the vegetable aisle.
Uh-huh.
They showed me the women's getting the vegetables. Uh-huh. Getting the fruits and vegetables and all the beefs and all. And he said, that's wife material. Because that woman will cook with love. That woman know how to cook. And not in the microwave. She's cooking with pots and pans.
Okay.
And then on the other flip side, my grandfather, we walked in the club. He said, I've never married a woman in this club.
See?
And he said, because this is not the wife I want. He said, I want the wife that when I walk in the church house, that's what I'm looking for.
Well, that was back in the day. They said, you know, you had women that you messed with,
and women that you had
women
right that you wife,
right, and that you had women that you married.
Right.
You had two different types of women.
But guess what? But that is to prove the point.
That's to
prove the point that over in a short period of time, a man will decide what place that woman can hold in his life. And I'm telling you, that's what they tell me. When it don't take them long to figure that out. This is what they tell me. Because why? Because they know what it is that they want in a woman. They know what they want her to be. They know from her conversation whether or not she can live up to those things and whether she can be that or not. So because and listen, and let's be clear. Yes, women, we have checklists of things that we're looking for too. And there are times when, like, I told a guy, no, you can't be my man because you sell drugs. And I talk too much stuff to law enforcement. They would love nothing more than take me down because I talk shit to them for me having a dude that sells dope. Okay, there's certain things that I know that's not gonna work for me. One of the things, I'm the kind of person, I would rather you be brutally honest and say something that you think is gonna hurt my feelings than to lie to me. Because for me, it irritates me that you think that you're smart enough that you could lie and pull some over put a wool over my eyes. That's more insulting to me than the damn lie itself. Right. And so there are things that I know that I need in a relationship. There are certain things that I know that will never work for me in a relationship. But these are things that I've developed over a period of time and having tried them out and know that they don't work for me. And so then I avoid those things at all costs at this point. Okay. But most people know very early on. That's why I say Hughes and Nia Long and her dude, they don't want to be married to each other.
No.
Now she didn't want to get busted out in public that he was cheating with the lady at the job. Oh, no. She don't want that. She don't want to be exposed publicly. But she wasn't hard pressed to marry that man because being engaged from 2015 until now, that's 7 years. You see what I'm saying?
That's a lifetime.
That's a lifetime. That's a lifetime. And
by law, they are married.
Well, depending on where they live. Depending on where they live, they are common law. Yeah. And then even worse than that, they got a 10-year-old son.
1 year.
They got a 10-year-old son together.
If you and a man live in a house together and he pays bills and you put him out, you have to pay for you have to help him get established place. Because you cannot just kick him out. And that's what attorney told my dad. And
a lot of people don't realize that a lot of, like I used to have, so we rent affordable housing. Wait 1 second. So we rent affordable housing and the women used to move in, and this is one thing that I don't like in the ghetto. And it happens in the rural areas too, but this is what I don't like, is that poor women have a tendency to let poor men move in with them. And they always moving in on them. And so what the women would do in our apartments is they would take out the lease and they would have all the responsibility. But what they wouldn't do is they didn't want to put the man on the lease because they thought that if he wasn't on the lease, they could put him out whenever they got ready. And that just wasn't true. They didn't realize is that in the state of California, after 30 days, they got tenancy. And even they would have to evict them. Yeah. So if they're there and especially if they start having bills and mail come there, it's not as easy as you think it is. But this was always my conversation to the young women. Hey, y'all, why is it that you think that he should be able to come here, live here, stay here, and not be responsible legally to be here? Why is that okay with you? You got your kids, you work every day, you found a way to provide for this. Make him get on the lease and make him legally responsible, just like you're legally responsible. If he gonna be here and had the benefits, and I would tell him, because once you get him in here, you can't just throw him out, you know. And nowadays it's even harder to evict people. I had my attorneys tell me that one of these tenants punched the manager in the face, and they wouldn't let the judge refused to put the tenant out of the property because for whatever reason, they're not evicting people. They're not, and it's really bad, and it's really scary in my line of work and with the people that I work with, because I tell my managers this: as long as you never throw the first punch, if they hit you, tear that ass up, and I'm always going to support you, because we don't provide affordable housing to take no ass whooping. Okay, that ain't what's happening here. Okay, so as long as you don't throw the first punch, if you wipe that ass, the floor with that ass, I got your back. You know? Because that's not right. You see what I'm saying? We're not doing this so it's already hard enough job as it is. And we're not doing this for the purpose of having to put up with somebody hitting on us and, oh, no. But just to say that the courts nowadays are so reluctant to evict people, and because homelessness is such a big issue. Homelessness is out of control. But that means we got to be super careful about who we even take in the properties, because it's so hard to get them out. So with all of them things considered, again, we are very careful about that. But I will say this: relationship, I want to go back to the things. You got to be a good listener, the 3 that we talked about, right? Be a good listener, ask the right questions, and take the whole person into account. And I want to give Mr. Steffens any last comments from you, sweetie.
Yes, I just want to say, Ms. Carroll, my name is Willie Steffens, and I want to thank you. You brought so much clarity to me about relationship. I got a relationship with my housemates. I got a relationship with my schoolmates, and I got a relationship with the people I go to church with. But what I meant to say is I didn't have a relationship with a woman in 24 years. Miss Noreen, I want to thank you tonight. This was a well-received topic to me, and it sounded like you were just talking directly to me. But I know we have a panel of other people, and I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Absolutely wonderful. Mr. Figueroa, you want to say something? You still there, sir? Graham?
Real quick, okay, I can relate to all of us because we're all in that same generation. But I work with a lot of millennials, right? And millennials want everything fast. So they grew up with everything fast, phones, computers, all that, right? Their meaning of relationships are way different. And a lot of them are, well, I hate to say it, some of them are gay, or some of them just prefer women, prefer the women, and the guys prefer the guys. And then some of the guys aren't even interested in any of that. They're all into the technology, right? And a lot of them are into that weird cyber stuff, but they're not doing anything weird. It's really strange, because I would like to know the percentage of people having babies as youths nowadays, like when we were kids, right, or when we're having kids and stuff like that. I know it's got to be totally drastic low, because some of these people that I've ran into, some of these women, and they vary from early 40s to, like 30s or so, and 20s and stuff like that. But these kids, to me, they're kids, all right? I'm an older man. But the thing is, they're just in this experimental world, and they don't really know what they want. They have no idea what a real relationship is. Like we do.
That brings to mind something really important, which is part of the reason that they don't really know what they want is because all of that cyber social media stuff where you project what you think people want to see and you never actually be real. They never take the time to find out who they are or what they like, and nobody's requiring them to do that. But they will find a way to get together and hook up and have sex. That's the one thing. They are still making babies. I got the millennials in the family, and they still making babies. And they don't know nothing. They don't know nothing about each other. They don't know. But they sure find a way to hook up, and somehow in the car or somewhere on the way. I don't know where they get it done, but they get it done, Ram. I'm gonna tell you that. Right. It's really important, the fact that they don't know who they are. They can't explain it to somebody else because they never take the time, because they're so busy creating this image or this personality or this caricature for Facebook or for social media. And so that becomes a problem, because when it comes down to it, who are you really and what do I really want? And nobody ever asked me what I wanted. I never had to think about what I wanted, because somebody else always told me what I should be looking for.
Yeah, it's damaging. It's so damaging.
It's very damaging.
You know, and I've done a thesis on that, and it was basically about the media, how bad it is. You know, I mean, because like these people that are killing people out there with their guns and going crazy, because a lot of them have low self-esteem. They'll watch these like shoot 'em up type of things that are not like when we watch, you know, gangsters or gunfighters or anything like that. Totally different. They just would look at it and they think that they can just go ahead and you know, because their self-esteem is so low, they'll either get belittled so bad and bullied, and they'll go out there and go like, you know what, I can do this. Because if I can do it on this video, I can go do it for real, and nothing will happen to me. But you know, that's where they mess up. Yeah. But it's so crazy because I did a thesis on that, and I mean, it's very damaging. And these kids they're not even really into drugs. You know, I mean, like, you know, like they may smoke the weed and stuff like that, but it's out there. It's not like we had fun doing it, and even though we knew we weren't supposed to, that's what made it funner.
Well, and then also it was the notion of, and also it was the notion of doing it with other people.
Yeah.
It was the engagement with other people. See, but now they're not engaging with other people. They're engaging with the computer screen and with the phones and all that. That's their constant companion. There are young people who are having going anxiety attacks because they can't find their phone, and the parents put them on punishment for the phone, and they want to fight the family and all of this kind of stuff because they don't know who they are, because nobody has required them to find out who they are. They have no identity because the identity is what they have created for social media, and it's not real. It's not real. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it's very sad.
You ready to check out for me, Robert?
No.
Yeah.
No. Hey, go ahead.
I am. So on the first part of being a good listener, I tried to be a good listener once, and for that reason I was asking questions for clarification, and I got yelled at for not listening.
See, that's funny. Okay, just brought back a memory, huh?
Yep.
That's all right. Okay, Mr. Hill, you have a checkout for me?
Yeah, well, this was a very interesting topic. I just want to say that communication, learning how to talk to another person. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I hear noise in the background. Somebody got, but anyhow, to learn oneself, or as a man thinketh, as a woman thinketh, and so is he. So he brings all that he has, his thoughts, what he is and what he thinks to the table, but how do he communicate that? And that person is not an island where he's surrounded by water, where he can live by himself, because society is social. The word social comes from society. Right. So if you can't socialize or communicate to your point what you want and to other people listening, you have a problem. And that become your individual problem, but it makes you unhappy or weird. And so a lot of people ostracize you. But to the end, to the point, is that people have to learn who they are first before they get to lying to everybody else.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Mr. Hall. Mr. Hall?
Yeah.
You see all that noise in the background?
Yeah, that's why I was in the kitchen. I just walked back in the room.
Okay, go ahead. Any thoughts? Any closing thoughts for tonight?
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I see you was having to scrabble up in the office, so it got kind of crazy up in there. But it was some good points being made. I kind of liked the last stuff you was talking about when you was talking about with the kids and how they be on the internet and how they don't know themselves. Yeah, that's so true. Like you said, they don't have an identity, so they kind of like trying to be somebody for somebody else.
Yes, and you know that even ties back into Mr. Hall. It ties back into the masking. Right. Exactly. Because people putting on so many masks that they have no idea who really is underneath of all of that. And so therefore they can't really share it with nobody else, because ultimately it's all a facade. It's all smoke. You don't see me. You don't see me. You don't know who I am.
Exactly. Right.
Because they don't really, they can't really explain it. So thank you. Mr. Diaz, please.
All right.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Sorry I was late.
That's okay, sweetie. But any thoughts? Because I know you did get to hear quite a bit of it. We had it going on in here tonight.
I mean, I thought I was watching Jerry Springer for a minute.
Just entertainment value, huh?
No, but I mean, everybody got good points. To me, I look at it as like I tell my fiance, like, don't do nothing you don't want me to do to you. Just think about my feelings. This is the way I'm gonna think about your feelings. You know,
that's
put
awesome.
my feelings first, the way I'm gonna put yours. You know,
that's
and all that. I never believed on friends with benefits. I'm cool. I don't like to share.
It's not healthy. I mean, it'll be okay for a minute, but it never turns out right. I've never seen it actually work over no long period of time, or where it actually was beneficial for a lifetime. It just doesn't work that way, because it always falls apart for the same reason, and that's because somebody is going to want more, and that's understandable. It's understandable because you can't mix. It's like oil and water. They don't go together. You can't mix oil, which is an intimate relationship like that, with water, which is something casual that's just going to flow how it goes. They don't go together like that. And that's why people wind up getting their feelings hurt. So that is a real thing. And thank you. Thanks for at least being here. Kit, can you unmute and give me your final thoughts for the night? Kit? Let's see. Let me see. I don't know. Well, in the meantime, while he's trying to unmute, I'm gonna go around the room. Any final comments?
Can you hear me now?
Uh-oh, there you go. Yes, indeed. Final comments or thoughts? I can hear you. Hello?
Can you hear me?
He got his mic off.
Well, he just had it.
There you go. Can you hear now?
There you go. Okay.
Okay. It's great to hear that people are still in the background are still having threesomes and finding out friends are still having sex with other friends. But hey, they should keep that to themselves. We don't want to know about their sexual activity.
It's too late now, kid. You done put them on blast.
Hey, but anyhow, it was great. It was great staying here the whole time and listening to what really is true and what really ain't true.
Okay.
Like I always tell you, the truth rings out truthfully, like a bell. A lie is a flat thump.
Yeah.
And it makes sure when you hear the truth, you know it's the truth.
That's for sure. Thank you.
Okay?
I appreciate that. Thanks for the comic relief. Sir, any comments from you? Mr. Sanders.
Well, expectations is something that you shouldn't have important to any relationship. In dealing with relationships, treat them for who they are, and you be honest, they be honest, or you'll see right straight through. Y'all have a good time. I appreciate you being here, and I learned from y'all as much as y'all learned from me. I had to move over here because I kept getting abused. I found out how to get up out of abusive relationships.
I know that's right. We ain't staying in no abusive relationship. It don't matter what it is. Okay, now. Wait. To his abuser, you got any comments?
Tonight was very eye-opening once again. I enjoyed everybody. I enjoyed everybody's input. I enjoyed everybody's comments, and thank you guys. I was not being abusive to this man over here at all. Over here. I was not being abusive to him at all. No, I was not.
Any comments? Your last comment, sir?
Not really, because
okay, kind of came in kind of late. Ma'am, any comments?
I'm waiting for the aftermath.
Okay.
I would just say, let's remember to set boundaries in creating these new relationships.
Wonderful. Anything from you, sir?
Yeah, keep your job. I need my check.
Oh Lord, we're not paying him no mind. I just want to, you know what? I just want to thank all of y'all for being here because the conversations, as much as we're having fun and all those kinds of things, there's some real things. Pay attention to what's being said. Okay, pay attention to what's being said because it's going to save you in the long run. And I just want to thank everybody for being here. Check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the social media, Instagram, all that. Check us out. We'll be with you guys next week, and you guys have a good one. Free to heal. That's us, y'all. That's us.